In this video, I'm going to show you how to use AgilePoint to create a basic work check approval system. I'm going to start here in the design environment, which you'll notice is just a browser. To get started, I'm going to drag a start task out here onto the canvas. And once it opens, I can associate it with the work check form that I've already created. And I've added some logic to this field at the top here so that we actually have two forms in one here. We have the injury form and we also have the occupational disease form. You can see this category field has changed depending on what I pick in this field. So saving this form, I can return to the process designer. Next, I want to add the approval step. So I drag this standard task form in from the side and open it up. And I can create a new form for this task that is based on the form that I created previously. So I want to call this the review form. And I can set it to be based on an existing form, this work check form. And now it's opened up. You can see this is the same field as before. So I want to add a couple of fields to give the reviewer their approval ability. So if I go over here to the left, I can see that there's tons of options for different types of controls. Basically, any type of control that you can imagine is here. Right now, I just want a text area so that the reviewer can give their instructions. Call this instructions. It's big. And then I also want a drop-down list so that the reviewer can give their actual approval. We'll call this one approval. And I just have to set the options to approve and reject. And then let's also make this one mandatory. The only other thing I want to do here is enable this reviewer field, which was grayed out for the apprentice. Then I can go up here and save this form and close out of it. And now I can click through here and customize this a little bit. I can set the name, review, which will show up in the task list. I can also set the time before it will become overdue as well as the priority. And if I click next, I can also set the participant here. So in this case, I want it to be the manager who gets this form. So I just drag that here. And that's all I need to do to configure this form. And so all of the settings that I just showed you can be set dynamically using data from the process or from external systems. And integration to existing systems is accomplished through a variety of easy to configure interfaces. We don't have to worry about that for now though. All we have to do is create the logic that routes the work check back to the learner if it's rejected or forward if it's approved. And to do that, I'm just going to drag one of these condition shapes out onto the canvas. And this shape allows for incredibly complex rule making, and we can rely on usage data from the process, form data, data from external systems, or really any other type of data that we can pull in here. And we can create very complicated rules here, multi-part rules, that kind of thing. For now, we're going to create a really simple one. So we just have to name it, approved. Go in here, and we can drag our new form field out, approval, and say if approval equals approved, we're going to send it forward. Otherwise, we're going to send it back. So we just have to connect everything up here, save this, and then we go out here to publish this. And publishing is just what you do to make the process available for general use. And you can see we can add version information here if we want. For now, I'm just going to publish it. And it looks like that worked. Now if I want to start it, I can just click this link here, but you can put these links anywhere you want. So you can see that by clicking here, my form pops up. And since I'm already logged in as the apprentice, all I have to do is fill out these fields. I'll put a few things in here. And hit submit, and that's going to automatically be sent now to the work checker. So to see a list of my tasks, I just have to go to the Work Center. And again, this is AgilePoint's built-in page, but you can put this as a web part anywhere you want. And you can see here that the apprentice has 3 work checks to complete. And just to show the difference, I've opened my other users' task lists in other browsers. So you can see here that the work checker has 5 to complete, and I've given myself 10 tasks to complete here. And by the way, you can also assign an open task through email, which would eliminate the need for this work center altogether. So if we go into the reviewer, we can see that they have a few task lists here, and clicking on one of these, I can see that I have a lot of different options. So clicking on View Process will open the process model right here and show an overall view of the process, along with which activities have been completed, which ones are in process, and which ones have not been interacted with. And this is a really nice and easy way for people to see lots of information about what's going on with a particular process. So going back into this task, I can see I have a bunch more options here that I can see if I have the right permissions. I can reassign this task to someone else, or I can send a previously completed task back for rework. I can create a linked work item, which is essentially a new task that someone has to complete that is connected to this task, so that work completed outside of the structure of this process can still be tracked along with it. And I can change the process priority, cancel it, or view a description. So now that I've shown you all of those, I'm just going to click Open Task here to open the approvers form that I created earlier. And you can see that all of the information that I entered before is here, as well as those 2 extra fields. So I can select myself as the reviewer here. I'm the manager. And on this one, I will send it back to be redone. And this will automatically route it back to the learner. So finally, I'd like to briefly touch on metrics and reporting. And one of the ways to learn more about your processes is through the Manage Center. And you can get there by clicking here. And there's a lot you can do here, but the most important features for this demo are here in the Runtime Management section. Here we can search for processes using a number of different tools. And I can just select my process model here, and click All, and click Search. And that will give me a list of all of my processes that I've run. So since we're using this process-based model, there isn't a way to simultaneously create the correct number of processes for each user, and also the correct number of open, completed, and in-error processes. But I hope you can see from this that this is the one place where you would be able to see statuses such as complete, which looks like this, in process, which looks like this. And if there was an error or if something was paused, you would see those various statuses as well. And so we can dig into these processes a little more by clicking here. And we've got lots of options for ways to interact a little bit more with them. This is another view process page. So we can see that this one has gone to approval, but it's actually been sent back, as we know it has. I can also click this tab to see all of the data that's associated with this process. And so you can see here all of my form fields, but if there was any external data or any system data, process data, that would all be here as well. We can also see this activities log, which is where every single interaction with this process is tracked, ensuring that you have a complete record of everything that's happened within the context of a work check saved right alongside with the process itself. So there's lots more in the Manage Center, but we're going to skip over that for now. And I'm going to show you the other piece of the reporting solution, which actually uses Microsoft's Power BI, which we can connect to AgilePoint and pretty much any other system that's capable of exporting data. And Power BI allows you to collect data from as many disparate systems as you'd like, load it all into a single model, and use it to create all kinds of custom reports and visualizations. And here's an example of dashboard that we built for Sound Transit to keep track of a process that we've built for them using AgilePoint. You can see that this visual here tracks exactly where each item is in its AgilePoint process. Here we have a table of data that tells a little bit more about each security item, each process, with a link that if we clicked on that, we would be taken to a web page that has even more information about that item. And over here, we can see a list of the assigned tasks, who's got them, what they're working on, how many, that kind of thing. And if I click anywhere on any one of these visuals, you can customize it so that you can make this whole report filter based on your selection. In addition, I can export my data from here directly to Excel if I want to do that. And I can also export to PDF by clicking this print link up here. And this will print to a PDF. And this could be formatted so it looked much more like a standard report that you would print to a PDF, or you could keep it like this and include some visuals if you want.